This morning, I am talking to one very, very busy lady who is based in Sydney and is the festival director of the 31st Queer Screen Mardi Gras Film Festival. And it is commencing on the 15th to the 29th of this month, which is not long to go. And Lisa Rose, you are the head of all of this. Welcome to Hush Hush Beers. And I'm
Oh, thank you.
so thrilled to be talking to you today and you taking the time as well, because I could just imagine you are, extremely still putting a lot of things together because, there's a big festival coming.
Yeah, it is. It's festivals and events are a very large puzzle pieces where there's lots and lots of different bits that you've got to put together. And it's one of the things that I kind of love about the job is that no day is the same as the previous day, because you have so many different things that you've got to be doing, to organize a festival of this scale. So it's exciting. 2 weeks, yesterday it was till we open.
I know. Yeah.
We had a volunteer induction yesterday and had about 80 of our volunteers there, and a lot of new faces. And it's always a great way to get involved with a festival and with film and with the queer community. It's actually how I started my life with Queer Screen was as a volunteer. So yeah.
What year was that, Lisa? When did you?
I started volunteering in 2012, and then I became the festival director in May 2017.
17, yes, exactly. Well, that's obviously you were very passionate to be involved in film back then. So wow, that's amazing. And obviously, who was your main influence in, you becoming to want to be a festival director? And obviously you must have, divulged films like anything.
Yeah. I've always had a love of film, and particularly queer film. Ever since I, was a teenager growing up in Tasmania, I was like grabbing onto any sort of like representation that I could find, like in the 90s, and there wasn't that much around then. And I started kind of my film life actually working at a Blockbuster Video, where
Oh,
I for a number of years, and I actually was the mine was a corporate Blockbuster in Newtown, and we were the only one to have a queer section. Like I repurposed the Legally Blonde pink shelves that we had for promo and turned them into two bays where I put all the queer films that were in the store. And so basically, in 2012, I started volunteering for Queer Screen because it's been a passion of mine for such a long time. And I learned a lot off the previous festival director, Paul Struthers. And he left to go and work at Frameline, which is the largest queer film festival in the globe. And so after he did that, I just kind of thought, what am I doing? I need to make my passion my career. And so I applied, and now 7 years later,
I know. It's
still
amazing.
here.
And and obviously you're the champion because, you only, that seat is a very, very, very sort of stressful seat at times.
It is. It is actually. I was reading a study the other day that said it was about I can't remember who did the study, but it was about the most stressful jobs that you can have.
Yeah.
And the third most stressful job that you can have is producing events. And I was like, oh, now I feel justified with how stressed I feel. So that made me feel like not so alone in my stress, but it was fine.
Yeah, no, well, we obviously, applaud you on your hard efforts and work, in getting there and also, successfully putting, the festival together. And this year there's, as it is, again, 161, films and events, and there's a pitch session as well. And can you tell us about the pitch session and also some of the highlights that you are, excited about the film? festival?
Yeah, the pitch session we actually run we do a second festival because, you know, we like to do two things. So we do a second festival every August called Queer Screen Film Fest, and that's where we have our short film pitch session. At this particular festival, what we do is we at our launch event, which we did a couple of weeks ago, we gave away $20,000 in completion funding to Australian filmmakers who are making some feature films or episodics, and that was fantastic that we managed to do that. And then at this particular festival, one of the key things we do for Australian filmmakers is we do some industry networking events, and we also have a couple of really fascinating panels because our theme this year is conversation, and so we're doing a panel on people's queer awakenings and also one about discussing kind of queer tropes and trauma and whether we should be seeing those things on screen. And then the other main thing that we do for Australian filmmakers in particular at this festival is My Queer Career, which is Australia's richest prize for LGBTIQ plus short films. We've been doing that for 31 years, and so we have 7 films that are competing for over $16,000 worth of prizes to be like the best queer film in the land. So that's exciting. And then we've got a few kind of special events that we're doing this year. So our opening night gala is the Sydney premiere of a film called Femme, which is just an absolutely riveting film. It was by far the most highly rated film of my programming team this year. Like, everybody absolutely loved it. I'm very excited to be opening with it, particularly in a year when we're talking about conversation, because it really is a conversation starter. It's a film that's very much about internalized homophobia and homophobic violence, and where that, you know, some of the reasons and where that can come from. It has a bit of a sort of revenge porn kind of theme sort of in it as well, and it's just 2 phenomenal lead performances, and you're going to be on the edge of your seat the entire time that you're watching the film. So I'm really excited to kick off the festival with a big bang. And then our closing night gala is the new film from Gras, who is just the new kind of up-and-coming wonder kid of Australian and Macedonian filmmaking. And he has made his 3rd feature in 2 years. He opened the festival last year with Of an Age, and now we're closing with Housekeeping for Beginners. It's a very different film from his 2 previous films, but it is equally as beautiful as those ones, and that he has his sort of signature, very witty dialogue that's in it. It's about a kind of chosen family, and this woman who kind of has this house in North Macedonia that she sort of just takes in queer strays, and they kind of create this family together, and it's really beautiful. And then we also have some special events. So we've got the buzziest film of the buzziest queer film of the year is, of course, All of Our Strangers. And we're doing a special screening at Westpac Open Air, which is at Mrs. Macquarie's chair. And so you sit there watching this fantastic film with the background of the harbour and, you know, the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge in the background. It calls itself the world's most beautiful cinema, and it pretty much is. So that's always a wonderful thing. We've been doing that for the last couple of years. And then we're doing something a bit special this year, which we've never done before. We've got our debut at the Sydney Opera House. We've got one night at the Playhouse Theatre, where we're going to be screening the Australian premiere of a film called Days of Happiness, which is about a lesbian conductor. It's from Montreal, the film, and it's the similarities between it and Tar just end there with the fact that it's a lesbian conductor. Like, it's nothing similar really in the film, other than there is elements that deal with like abuse of power, but it's unlike in Tar. It's not the Cate Blanchett like lead character. It like the character in this film is incredibly likable when you're really rooting for it. It's her kind of battling against the other power that kind of exists, and from her father in particular, who's her manager. And then the other thing that we're doing that night, which is really exciting, we're doing a performance. So where the Sydney Cello Quartet are going to be performing 45 minutes of music from queer film that has all been arranged from other instruments to be played with 4 cellos. And they did a little sneak peek of about 5 minutes at our launch event on the 25th, and people just absolutely loved it. They'll be playing a few pieces from like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and Call Me by Your Name, and Priscilla, and Moonlight, and Carol, and Imagine Me and You, and Beautiful Thing, and The
Oh,
Hours, and like it's going to be quite unique. And it's one of the cellists is actually my wife, and that was how it kind of came about, that I was obsessively listening to this piece of a cappella singing that happens in Port Lady on Fire, and she said to me, that would sound really good on the cello or by the quartet. And I was like, do you think you could do a whole like concert of like music from queer film? And she was like, yeah, I suppose. So that, 4 years ago, we kind of started talking about it, and this year it kind of became the perfect storm for us to collaborate on and kind of combine our two passions for something that is hopefully, I think, quite unique. And I think it will be a really like, we're hoping that we're going to get a lot of people going to their first ever classical music concert, because so hopefully it's going to tap into a new audience.
oh my God. I think it will.
Yeah.
That is all unbelievably exciting. I just want to go to all of them.
Well, you can, and that's only a tiny taste, like you said,
Yeah,
We've
you
got like
just
77 unique we've got like 77 kind of unique programs. So the 161 is kind of like counts features and shorts and docs and events, and then there's kind of like 77 different things that people can kind of engage with throughout the festival. And then not only we have the 15-day in cinema festival, we have our on-demand encore that we're doing from the 1st of March to the 11th of March, which is national. So you can watch some films on demand Australia-wide. It's not the entire program that's available that's on demand, but there is 13 features and 12 shorts programs that will people be able to watch after the cinema program.
Oh, how exciting. Oh my God, that is just thrilling with everything you've just mentioned. And like you must get a lot of people from out of town that must fly in to Sydney.
Yeah, absolutely. We always get people coming into the festival every year. And I think particularly like one of the cool thing, but like a silver lining to like everything that, the kind of world went through with the pandemic over the last few years, it's kind of meant that our industry had to pivot and offer some things online, which we had never done before. Some festivals have reverted back to pre-pandemic times and not having anything online. But we're quite committed to, as long as we're permitted to by the filmmakers and by the classification board, to continue to offer some of our program online, because it's just such a great thing for not only for the filmmakers to get their films to a wider audience, but also just for access for people, because there's not that many queer film festivals in Australia. There's ours and Melbourne Queer, the two biggest, and there's a couple of smaller ones in some other areas. And we do a lot of sort of pop-up work with around the country as well, where we will curate packages of shorts or like features and stuff for organizations throughout the country as well. But it's just that aspect that we can touch people in, every single country, and not country, every single city and, town, and like the outback and state, and also people who, might have young kids and can't get to the cinema, or people who might have shift workers or access issues, or, that just or people who aren't out and don't feel comfortable coming to a queer festival. Like it's really great that we're able to offer that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is amazing, an amazing festival program. So congratulations. Well, so for anybody that obviously is, wanting to get to the tickets, you just go to your website, and they can get all the links there to access all the sort of programming and everything. So yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, just go to queerscreen.org.au and get yourself some tickets, get yourself a pass, and come on down.
Fantastic. Well, Lisa, I can't tell you how amazing it was to just hear all about this. Again, fantastic, job in terms of what you've put together here. And on a final note, I have to say that I'm an ex-Melbourne girl.
Yeah.
And I believe you're a very keen Richmond Tigers supporter.
I am indeed. I am indeed a very keen Richmond Tigers supporter. Yeah, yeah. I have been a Tiger supporter since I was probably, I think, about 13 years. Like, so yeah, it's been about 30 years.
30.
So I had a pretty not great 20 years, and then the 25 years, like the last few years have been much better than the last 20 years of being a Richmond supporter.
Well, I tell you what, I was raised in Hawthorn, so I was Hawthorn, but I actually engaged with Richmond a lot. My
Yeah,
cousins
yeah.
all lived there, and yeah, I just wanted to, say, yeah, let's have a great AFL, sort of year as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Go
Yeah,
Tigers.
yeah, go the quickly. I think you're winning all the way. So have a wonderful, wonderful festival.
Thank
And
you.
again, thank you for talking to
Oh, my
myself
pleasure.
on Hush Hush Biz. And yeah, and I tell you what, if I can get to Sydney, I'll be there in a blink.
Oh, please come on down.
I'd love to. I'd love to. So yeah, again, thank you and all the best from us in Hush Hush Biz World.
No worries. Thanks, Caroline.
Thanks, Lisa.